All right, we're up to the book of Acts. Acts is basically the Acts of the Apostles. This comes off of Luke. It's really a combination of Luke and Acts. Luke Acts, written by the same person or group of people. And it talks about the early church and the Acts of the disciples, Acts of the followers of Jesus. Now, I wish I had a lot more time than 1 or 4 minutes here because I seem to be going over time. But Pentecost is in the Acts of the Apostles. And it talks about how people, the disciples, were able to speak in new languages. And they were able to speak in those who were in Jerusalem's words and language about love. About love. How about love across all cultures? And then people were like accusing those disciples being drunk because they were like, doing all sorts of things that nobody else did before. And one of the disciples said, I think it was Peter, said, "We're not drunk. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning." And I think that's on some level very funny because if it's only 9 o'clock in the morning, of course they're not drunk, but maybe if it's 9 o'clock in the evening, that might be true. And so these were real guys, real people who hung out and drank wine and did all sorts of things that you and I do on a regular basis. And the idea that these disciples were somehow different is completely messed up. The other thing in the book of Acts is that we had an early group of people who loved each other so much that they took all of their possessions and they shared them. They shared them with everybody. And not to be Pollyanna, there were some people in the early church who they had a lot more money. They had purple robes and some women who supported the church with their monies and finances. But generally speaking, there was a it may not be socialism or communism per se, but there was a level of sharing and taking care of that included sacrifice and making sure that anybody in their community did not go without food or without shelter, without care. And it was a level of beauty and wonder to such a point that there were enemies of this group, the Roman soldiers, who came and hung out with them because nobody did that. Nobody shared their love and their money and their food and their time and their gatherings with everyone. And we can learn from that. Many of us need to give more of ourselves to make sure that all those in our gathered communities, our koinonias, our ecclesias, you pick the term, ancient or otherwise, where people need to be loved and taken care of. And that's the book of Acts. It's a wishful hope that more of us could follow those in the book of Acts. All right, take care.